Hello, welcome back. Oh, some news on the chair front. Turns out part of the welding broke on the bottom of my chair. So now if I ever lean forward ever so slightly, the chair itself goes very forward. So that means whenever I'm recording or eating, I am closer to the mic, I guess, now. Oh, pretty much closer to everything. Domordona. I guess I could check the recording to make sure it's working. Yeah, it's working. And I better start the timer before we have another episode where it's like, oh, I forgot to put the timer on. Wee. Yeah. I got up before I wanted to today, but I had to force myself to get up today so I could record. Let's see. I've been up for almost 4 hours. No, I mean, I got up at 4. So that's why I've been up for 4 hours. Probably after I get done recording, I want to go back to sleep. I is tired. Good news, Edgar. Thancred and Nordion J have finished their tour of Garlemald and are on their way back, even as we speak. Back here, even as we speak. As we still haven't heard anything on the towers from the Alliance, I'm hoping they might be able to shed some light on things. They're due to arrive any moment now, so let's see what they have to say, eh? Hold on, Thancred. I am dumb. I am very much a dumb. Welcoming party, you shouldn't have gone to the trouble. From what I hear, you've been more than busy enough as it is. Honestly, you might have waited for me to return before discovering a cure for tempering. As it is, I can't even pretend to have been involved. If it's any consolation, I myself was little more than a spectator. The lion's share of the credit must go to Alize, Graha, and Edgar, but I believe I speak for the rest of us when I say we are proud to have rendered what little assistance we could. As you will also have heard, though, it hasn't all been tales of triumph. Just as we taking a step towards finally just the primal threat, a pile of fresh problems landed in our lap. Anyway, it's good to have you back, though I can't help noticing that we're one Orion J short of a scouting party. You haven't lost him, have you? Oh, I couldn't lose him if I tried, and I did try repeatedly, but no, he decided to linger in Alamigo to appraise Ravan and the others of how the land lies in Garlemald. Then mayhap you would do the same for us. Indeed, it was just as Lee said, worse, in fact. Devastation as far as the eye could see. Nerva and the Third, however, were noticeably notable by their absence. Might they have met their end at the hands of Xenos and Fandaniel? Perhaps, or perhaps they simply lost the will to fight. You see, the capital has been plunged into a deadly silence, with one exception, the Imperial Palace. It was a busy place before the war, but it has grown busier still, with throngs of soldiers and civilians working there day and night to rebuild, or rather transform it. Transform it into what? That is a difficult question to answer. The construction is a vast and unsettling to behold, like something from a nightmare. According to Yoron J, certain aspects of its designs were certainly devised with the manipulation of ether and mind, magic tech, in other words. Yet, as unnerving as said edifice was, it was nothing next to the sight of its builders. They swarmed the place like so many insects, working with nary a word exchanged between them. No one overseeing construction, no one barking orders. It was as if they were possessed or tempered. We wanted to investigate more closely, but given our suspicions, it seemed wiser not to take the risk. If Daniel could bind Bahamut to his will, mayhap he have done the same to the people of Garlemald. Whatever the truth may be, this information is certainly to prove valuable. You have our thanks. Oh, be sure to save some for Yonche, which reminds me I have a message from El Amigo. Raban is housing a meeting to discuss the latest findings on the towers, and he requested our presence. Then why not leave that to us? You must be wary from your mission. No, I'm fine. Those towers have been on my mind since I first spied one on the way back. I'm keen to get to the bottom of this. In that case, I shall stay and begin looking into another matter. As I promised Kryl, we need not all attend. Farewell. I suggest the rest of us make our way to El Amigo forthwith. The sooner we leave, the more time we will have to speak with Orion J before this meeting. Back to El Amigo. The past few days with playing by myself, I just haven't been really doing much. I've just been grinding for gear because I am woefully under-geared. So I just want to get my gear all set up before the next expansion comes out. I'm almost done with Spellcaster. I'm only missing gloves. My friends, much and more have I heard of your travails and our absence. Heartened am I to see you all hale and whole. As are we to see you safely returned from your mission. Orion J, I trust Thancred made you feel welcome. Well, if it isn't Alphino and his merry band. Arvild, whatever are you doing here? When we spoke via Link Pearl, you told me you'd be away on a mission. And who's to say this isn't part of it? But enough about that. It's good to see you looking so similar. I thought you would have grown a bit taller after a whole year in another world, but apparently not. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you. While my soul may be a year older, my body has hardly aged, as you are well aware. And may I remind you that we Elezen are known to be late bloomers, especially in terms of our height. Mark my words, the day will come when even a great Auroch such as yourself will crane your neck to meet my eye. I 'twas not until my 20th summer that I myself outgrew my boyish proportions, though Umbrida towered over me nonetheless. Arvold brings out the best in Alphino, doesn't he? They both seem so at ease in each other's company, it's almost enduring. So what exactly brings you here? Oh, Fordola mostly. We need to go over a few things before we set out. Set out? Wait, does this have something to do with the towers? What gave you that impression? Actually, tell me later. You've got a meeting to go to. I'll see you afterwards, alright? If Fordolo's going with him, that must mean... My apologies, as Arvold rightly pointed out. We have a meeting to attend. Let us be about it. Do we have to? Can Edgar go have some ice cream? I don't think Edgar's ever had ice cream.
Ere we begin, I would like to offer my gratitude to Masters Thancred and Urianger. Tis no small feat to infiltrate the Imperial capital and live to tell the tale, much less in times of civil war. Thanks to them, we may plot our course in full knowledge of how the winds blow in Garlemald.
Full glad are we to have been of service. But verily, such dangers as we did encounter pale into insignificance next to those faced by our comrades. An Ascian, armed with the might of Bahamut, bent on bringing about the final days.
Theatrics. He sought only to make a show of the power at the Telophoroid's disposal. But since then we have seen no sign of this Fandaniel or his worm. And while we've done what we can to bolster our defenses, there's no telling where he might strike next.
Whenever and wherever it may be, we must use the intervening time to learn more of our enemy. 'Twas with this in mind that we dispatched scouts to investigate the towers.
Our advance party took longer than expected to return. And when they did, they tried to kill us. Luckily, I'd seen that sort of thing before, and we were able to restrain them before they did any harm. Then it was just a matter of letting the Porksies do their work.
Are you saying they were tempered?
Once they'd come back to their senses, they told us everything they could. It seems that just as they were getting close to the tower, they heard an ear-splitting roar. And that was the last thing they remembered. But what worries me most is what they were saying right before they attacked. Glory be to Garlemald.
The Tempered have heretofore ever been thralls to primal entities. Yet these hapless souls were compelled to accept a nation as the object of their devotion. This calleth into question all that we know of the condition.
They made Garlemald into a primal. They made an entire nation into one.
Would that the unsettling news ended there. Alas, there is more. Following the earlier reports of missing Amalja, we have learnt that other beast tribes have suffered similar losses. And we now have reason to believe that the abductions are connected to the appearance of the towers. Our scouts sighted black-garbed figures leading shackled Ixal in the direction of the tower in Dravania. The Temple Knights were able to intercept them before they could reach their destination, liberating the Ixal and apprehending their captors, each of whom was found to be equipped with Garlean arms and armor.
So the Empire is the common thread.
I like to think that their armor was actually made out of paper mache. Like, since they were so far away from Garlemald, and there were Templars, they actually had to make their armor and weapons out of paper.
With the support of Xenos, it seems likely that Fandaniel has rallied a faction of the splintered Garlean army to the banner of the Telophoroi.
Lord Hien reached the same conclusion when I shared our findings with Doma. The plan had been to march on Garlemald from the east and west in order to force a peace treaty. But the situation has changed. Dealing with the threat of the towers must come first. Given the nature of the enemy and the proven risk of tempering, I could think of few suitable candidates to aid in this task. But I am confident in my choice.
What?
Resistant to primal influence as they are, they can investigate the towers without fear of being turned.
We are glad to put our gifts to use, Commander.
And if either of them died, nobody would probably miss them. Maybe except for Alphino.
Gifted or not, going behind enemy lines remains a perilous undertaking. But we must know more if we're to strike back at our foe. I'm counting on you.
If it would give us the upper hand, I'd do it 100 times over. We won't let you down.
That concludes the briefing. You two, make ready and join your escort.
Are you certain about this, Arenvold?
I am. Come on, let's talk outside.
Okay, there they go. Just gotta wait for them to pop in. Now that's... Oh, there you are, Pandora. Where have you been all day? I was wondering if you were okay. Pandora loves the mitt bag. Or mitt box. Now that's out in the open, I don't have to keep it under my preferable hat anymore.
So you know, I've already gone through all the formalities at the Rising Stones. Made sure to inform Jamoldva and Vmar at Ralga's Reach as well.
Arenvold, I admire your enthusiasm, but this is far more dangerous than anything you have done before.
I know the risks. And I also know what's in store if we don't stop Fandaniel from carrying out his plan. With this power of mine, I can make a difference. If I stood idly by, I would regret it for the rest of my life.
And you, Fudola? Is this what you want?
What are you asking me for? It's not like I have any say in the matter.
Don't pretend. We both know Commander Eldin gave you a chance to refuse. And you didn't.
So the Empire's finished, is it? But that's what they're all saying. That the great and glorious Garlemald slit its own throat. And now, from out of its twitching carcass crawls the Telophoroi with bloody Xenos at its head! I fought for Garlemald. Killed for Garlemald. What was I part of? I need to know. Whatever it is, I need to know.
Very well. If your hearts are set on this, I shall not stand in your way.
If you've finished with your touching display of camaraderie, I have a question. Which tower are you planning to investigate, exactly?
Well, the one in Girabani is said to be tightly guarded. It's patrol after patrol out there, apparently. We'd be spotted before we got anywhere near it. Which is why we've set our sights on the one in Paglthan instead. There shouldn't be anything like as many Imperials to worry about down there.
Even so, I doubt the local Amalja will look kindly on it if they catch you sneaking around in their territory.
Fordola and I had a chance to learn the lie of the land in our previous forays there. We might still find trouble, but at least we won't lose our way. Well, we'd best not keep them waiting any longer.
Mayhap when all of this is over, we could take another trip to Loxeld. I would have you know I've become a rather capable swimmer since our last visit.
Ha! I'll believe that when I see it. Though, to be fair, getting into deep water does seem to be a scion's lot in life. Take care, eh? It means a lot, you know. You coming with me.
I'll still owe you for saving my skin, don't I? Can't return the favour if I'm not there.
I dare say you'll get your chance before long. That Fandaniel sounds like a tricky customer. Too much for the likes of me, anyway. But we both know I'd just be another soldier if it weren't for my gift. And I need to be a damn sight more than that given what's coming. I realise I can't hold a candle to a hero like the Warrior of Light, or Alphino, for that matter. He might look like he's 12, but he's seen more action than most people see in a lifetime. No, the fact is I'm nothing like them, and maybe I never will be. But I'll be damned if I don't try. They're counting on me. On us. So let's give it our all.
He does not want for conviction, that much is certain. So let us have faith in him. Him and Fordola both. While they see to the towers, I would attend to another task. Chasing down this lunar Bahamut.
Bloody thing. Can you hear me? It's Tataru. I'm happy to say we've managed to find Estinian. And I'm sorry to say he went running off again the moment we told him about Bahamut. But he did mutter something about heading to Ishgard, so if you're quick, you might still be able to catch him.
Even if we set out this instant, he may already have left by the time we arrive. Have her send the Bonanza to Ishgard. It may prove useful should we need to give chase.
Gladly. I'll see to it as soon as Kryl and I get back to the Rising Stones. Good luck.
While you go off on your dragoon hunt, Urianger and I will return to headquarters. We have much to tell the others.
I wish you every success in your search for our elusive friend. May we all meet again ere long.
I think it's rather this quest or the next quest that has one of my favorite scenes. Justinian was bound for Ishgard. Whatever it is that brings him home, we must hope it will keep him there long enough for us to find him. Come, there is no time to lose. Well, Ishgard's one of the two places which I live, basically. It's Ishgard and the thing you unlock after you get done with Endwalker. The name escapes me. Oh, the reason why I had such difficulties getting to sleep last night was because of a certain kitty. Recruitment notice. Oh, I know that one. I already done that long ass quest line and I'm not going to do it again. Even though I probably should have done that when I got done with Heaven's Ward, I'm not doing that now. Oh, present good. Let us split up and search for Sidian. Since we're relatively new to this place, Graha and I will look around the open spaces, the squares, and markets and whatnot. You and Edgar can delve into nooks and crannies. Very well, let us reconvene at the airship landing later, with or without Estinian. Good luck. I think I shall begin at the Skysteel Manufactory. So perhaps you could try the Congregation. Lucia may well have heard news of our friend's return. Wait, I think Alphino and Alize are 16? I think that's their actual age, 16. Good evening to you, Warrior of Light. Lord Imric sent word that you would be attending the meeting in Alamigo, so I gather you have not come in search of him. To what do we owe the pleasure of your visit? I see. No, we were not aware Sir Estinian had returned to Ishgard, but as I expect you remember, he is wont to come and go as he pleases. Mayhap he came seeking an audience with Lord Imric, only to find him absent. In any event, I'm afraid I cannot help you. Perhaps one of your companions has fared better. There's nothing out there right now, Pandora. It's night. The only thing you would see out there are coyotes. Yeah.
No sign of him. Not that I've ever met him before, but the way Alphino goes on about him, I'm fairly sure I could pick him out in a crowd.
Speaking of which, it does seem awfully quiet. If the erstwhile Azure Dragoon had returned to Ishgard, would it not be a source of general excitement?
That is, if they could find him. It's not exactly the easiest person to find. Then again, I don't think anyone other than Imric and a few others have seen him outside of his armor.
First the Scion's Coinkeeper, and now you. I'm beginning to think these meetings are more than mere coincidence. Not that I'm complaining. It's been too long.
wrong?
You look an ilm taller and twice as rugged. It suits you, Alphino. Quieter, though. Have you been giving him lessons on how to be the strong, silent type?
I am not Alphino! If the two of you are such firm friends, perhaps you should remember what he looks like. And what do you mean, rugged? Ugh! Had my brother mentioned what an oaf you are, I'd never have bothered looking for you in the first place.
Estinian Wormblood, the Azure Dragoon. He who fought and felled the dread worm Nidhogg at the Warrior of Light's side. To think the day would come when I should see this living legend with my own eyes.
Would someone mind explaining what is going on?
Is everything all right? I thought I heard Alize shouting. Estinian! It's been too long. No, it's quite understandable. That was hardly the first time we've been confused for one another. Nor, I suspect, will it be the last.
Well, I, for one, will not be making that mistake again.
Look on the bright side, Estinian. At least you didn't do a reach around.
What I will say, for the second time today, is that you've grown. Inside and out. I can tell.
Because I don't remember if we heard about one of Alphino's friends, one of female friends, mistaking Alize for Alphino, and they got her surprised.
One can't remain a spoiled little lordling forever, you know.
At least someone's having a good time. You know, when we were growing up, Alphino would never befriend other boys because he couldn't stand the thought of not being in charge. But maybe that's changed. He seems just as happy around Estinian as he does Arenvald. Huh. Good luck to them. It hasn't been easy being his sister, I can tell you that.
No rest for the righteous, eh? Speaking of which, I was just on my way to borrow an airship to take me to Azisla.
Azisla? How could I forget? The dragon with whom Bahamut shared the deepest of bonds.
Aye. Tiamat, his mate. Even now she remains imprisoned on Azisla, though her remorse binds her faster than any shackle.
I see. As the one who first summoned Bahamut, you believe she may be able to shine some light on his latest incarnation.
Might I suggest that we make the journey to Azisla together? I'm not sure if Tataru mentioned this, but we Scions have an airship of our own now.
For now. Knowing our luck, it'll probably explode here soon.
I see no reason why not. Assuming your sister can bear the thought of sharing a deck with me.
Be my guest. But confuse me with Alphino again and I'll throw you overboard.
I'm pretty sure Estinian can fly at this point.
I don't know who he thinks he is, but he's nothing like Alphino painted him to be.
I will admit, he is not exactly as I imagined him either. Based on what I had read of the man, I think I was expecting someone a little less blunt.
Okay, I'm going to check something real quick. Okay, so the recording is still working. I don't know if it showed up. Eh? Okay, what just happened there? No! Put me in the game! There was stuttering. So I went to see if the recording was still working. It is! And then when I tried to get back into the game, it minimized the game. It has been quite some time since last I set foot in Azis Law, but I understand the three of you were here rather more recent. I don't suppose you chanced to meet with Tiamat during your visit. Alas not, we had no cause to set foot here in the Delta Quadrant, but I have studied Levelin records, which is not to say I wouldn't appreciate a first-hand account of your dealings with her. Oh, then Edgar is the person to ask. As far as I know, he's the only one of us who has met Tiamat face to face. Now I'm thinking about it, did the dragons survive? Like the rest of the dragons survive the 8th Umbral Calamity? And about these flying lands, did they stay up in the air so the Meridian dragons that were up here survived? For Mitsumgar himself, he's tied to the star itself, so he can't really die in the traditional sense. He could probably use up all of his ether that he's made out of, causing him to die, like his soul having to go to the next, like into the ethereal sea. But he can't really die in the traditional sense. Oh yes, you were a friend of her father. I too have met with Tiamat. After the Dragonstone War came to a close, I came here to speak with her, a worm who had fought her own war against man in another age. I wished to know if she yet harbored thoughts of vengeance and asked as much. She said no. My hatred for your kind was extinguished long ago. But the guilt she feels for resurrected Bahamut burns on undimmed and torments her even now. I see then your original reason for coming here was out of concern that Tiamat has been forced to summon Bahamut. Nidhogg is a part of me. I feel his emotions as my own, and I know that he would not allow his sister to be made a tool of evil. In his absence, it falls to me to watch over her. Okay, we got the pizza, we got some squinch, and we got a salad. This one. Inventory management. Timid waits this way. least we're gonna get to see the new world in the next expansion. And maybe in the post-expansion or in the one after that, if there's another one after the next one, we'll go to Myrcidia. Or maybe there's sections of the new world we won't be able to see. Again, I keep calling it the new world when just causing me to think of Monster Hunter World. I don't think it's called the new world in this one.
It's plain she knows naught of recent events. Perhaps you should enlighten her.
Much like those held here in Asisla. If dragons who worship Bahamut are required to summon him, that must mean...
Your children's pain means nothing to them. They laugh at your kind suffering. But tears will not right this wrong, nor will lamentation see the perpetrators punished.
Snosk anta in Dramon.
Behavior befitting a great worm. We came here to ask mighty Tiamat of the First Brood, consort of Bahamut, mother of the dragons of Myrcidia, what she intends to do about the crimes committed against her children.
Santalan infan antosk. Kosh lent on. Ale u esk an in. Ale kum ak in.
You too were exposed to his influence. That you are yet in possession of your own will is testament to the indomitable strength of your soul. But were you to meet with Bahamut again, You fear you might succumb.
On the matter of Bahamut's influence, at least, I believe we can be of some assistance. If you're afraid of being enthralled, don't be. We have a cure. And while we've never tried it on one such as you, its basic principles are universal.
There is no future for those bound to the past. That you committed a terrible sin, I do not dispute. But if you feel remorse, you may yet make amends. We offer you that chance. Take it, or you will forever remain a prisoner. Not of these cruel shackles, but of your own guilt.
Sahaban, Setso, Kin Bahamut, An Suron, Na An Inles, Snaloles Dishan, Na Ala An Ul An Sin An Stan In.
Okay. Cabbage. Port seeds have been shown to be effective in curing the tempered, Tiamat must be considered a special case. She is far, far larger and immensely more powerful than any subject treated thus far. Were we to remove her restraints, only to find that the process has failed, we would be hard-pressed to contain her. Look at Estinian. Looks at self. Looks at Estinian again. Looks at self again. I think we're fine to fight a malnourished dragon. And before going ahead, we should learn as much as we can about the exact nature of her condition. Do you suppose we could find that information here? Why, yes, we can. We can indeed. The Elegans kept detailed records on all of their notable captives, and I know exactly where to look. We shall leave that to you, then. In the meantime, the rest of us can turn our thoughts to the removal of those shackles. I know Alphino Edgar here well enough, but not you. Are you certain you're ready to see this through? Rest assured, Sir Stinian, that I am both ready and willing to give my all for the sake of this star, though that is not my only reason for wanting to set Tiamat free. While I do not claim to know all her sorrow, I too once found myself in the prison of despair, and I well understand how hard it can be to dare to dream of escape. It took the encouragement of braver souls than I am to make me take the first step towards a brighter future, and now I would help Tiamat do the same. I gather you're not as young as you look. Mayhap, when our work here is done, we could trade tales over a pot of Tataru's famous tea. And be indebted to her for the leaves and hot water? I think not. I see. Returning swiftly to the task at hand, then. I believe the nodes governing Tiamat's restraints are located in the sector known as the flagship. Yes, we are familiar with it, the Etherochemical Research Facility in particular. Oh, you may wish to take this. A spirit vessel containing a small amount of my blood. Which you just happen to be carrying around with you. I suppose that could seem rather odd to explain. Ramperos, Orionje, and I are researching the use of spirit vessels and the transference not only of memories, but the traits of certain bloodlines, and so I kept one at the ready should the opportunity to test our theories arise. As for its use to you may recall that during our previous visit, the nodes here granted access to restricted functions. Having identified me as being of royal blood and armed with that spirit vessel, I posit that they will do the same for you, even in the absence of, well, the rest of me. It seems worth a try at least. Agreed, we will take good care of it. To the flagship, then. I mean, after everything is done, at least she'll be able to, you know, not be in the same position she's been in for, I think, like 1,000 years or so. Who knows how long. Probably some of the people who are good with the timeline and stuff. Let us split up and search the flagship for the node that controls Tiamat's restraints. But should you find a likely candidate, do not be tempted to make any adjustments. It would not do to accidentally release some manner of experimental monstrosity, nor less Tiamat herself and her current state. Our objective at this stage is simply to identify the relevant node or nodes. Once we have learned what we can, we should reconvene and compare notes prior to proceeding. I remember grinding here as a blue mage. I realize I said this before and on more than one occasion, but I never cease to be amazed by elegant technology, amazed and disturbed. I think they would at least leave one custodian bot around here. Warning, scheduled dragon restraint maintenance due in negative 2,020 years. Failure to verify system integrity may result in unscheduled specimen release. It's fine, she probably won't get far anyway. Especially since, like I said, she's probably very hungry. Data link with Delta Quadrant broken, possible cause intruder interference. Advised deployment of automated combat units. Proceed. Oh, there's a Stunian. He found a small one. These nodes, or whatever it is you call them, why do they quiver so? Oh, you are drenched in dragon blood, or we're baptized in it, so probably that. Friction between metallic components detected. Temperature increasing to critical level. Please replace damaged parts or retreat to a safe distance. Just explodes immediately. Stupid spiky jellyfish. I'm afraid Justinian and I have little to show for our efforts. Did you find anything? A node! Which smelled like burnt hair. Yes, a corrupted node which really warned me about neglecting the dragon restraints. I found a way to activate mechanical sentries if that helps. No. Spaghetti, you say? Well, that does sound promising, almost suspiciously so, in fact. But that you were in possession of the spirit vessel, I dare say it is indeed the node which Graha spoke. And it was, chirping, you say? Very well, let us take a closer look. Do you wish to operate the dragon restraint mechanisms? You do not have the required access privilege. Operations of the dragon restraint mechanisms are only be undertaken by the chief technologists and members of the royal family. Or those with a vessel full of royal blood, perhaps. Don't tell it. One never knows when a small portion of royal Allegan blood might come in handy, which is why Graha Tia keeps this vessel about his person. No user detected. Commence biometric authorization. Authorization complete. User identified as member of royal family. Please state your name. Welcome, Edgar Magic. You may operate the dragon restraints mechanisms when we're ready. Error, unable to disengage restraints of the specimen. Tiamat, a system update is required. A system update? What do you suppose it is asking of us? I could hazard a guess. Well, that's more than I can say, confounded bloody thing. User agitation detected. Initializing guidance program. In order to operate the restraint mechanism, I require access to the central control system. However, unable to establish a link to said system due to the obsolescence of my own software. This issue can be resolved by applying a system update using the corresponding terminal located within the flagship. So, can this thing release the restraints or not? It can, but only once it has received the requested system update, as far as I can tell. Until which time it floats there spewing nonsense. User dissatisfaction detected. Initialize questions protocols. I am here to help. Rest assured that I will be on hand to guide you through every step of the system update process. How gratifying, but I dare say we will fire better with guidance than without it. Yeah, after this quest, I'll call it an episode. Guiding user to terminal. This way, please. Let's see, according to the terminal, the central system is presently employing the software version 56.135. Dare I ask which version you are employing? Why, software version 42002, of course. Warning, errors detected in the data management system. Estimate required for update 5 years in 1 day. That is rather longer than we were hoping. Aren't there any other options? For instance, using this terminal operates too much restraints instead. The proposed method is indeed an option. Please be warned, however, that the procedure may have changed as a result of the system update, and my instructions may no longer be accurate. Well, I can't imagine it will have changed all that much as long as we pay due attention to any discrepancies. I dare say we shall be able to muddle our way through. Don't bother trying to explain, just tell me if we've made any progress. I would say so, yes it does, however require that I remain here to operate the terminal. I shall inform you via Link Pro once I am ready to release the shackles. It might be best if you left the spirit vessel with me. I may yet have use for it, rest assured. I will be certain to return it to Grahatia once this is over. Just a little more work, and Tiamat will be free. But before we go any further, there is something I would know. When Tiamat and her clan fought against the Algan Empire, both sides were but dancing to the tune of the Ascians. And it was the same in Ishgard when they stoked the fires of conflict between man and dragon from the shadows. All the Ascians touched turned to ash, and thus have you made it your mission to fight them. But there have been times when you tried to reach out to them instead to find common ground. And so I must ask, what do you intend to do with Fandaniel? You tried to reach out to him, too? I'd rather put my lance through his heart and be done with it. But perhaps that's the difference between you and me. You see the good in people, even if it's but the faintest glimmer. I only hope you do not come to rue your benevolence. You think us unwise for viewing the world thus? Far from it. That has ever been your way, as I learned when we journeyed together with Iceheart. Yet the fact remains that there are some who view compassion as a weakness to be exploited, and that there may come a time when you extend the hand to friendship, only to wish that you had dealt the killing blow. So save your mercy for those who deserve it. Well, we should be getting back to our task. If Alphino has things in hand here, I suggest we rejoin the others. I wonder what else was built here, considering that it looks like there's like a ruined strip over there. And I do wondering how long these crystals have been here, considering that the chains are attached to them. Because these, the corrupted ether here, or the lightning crystals, because it kind of reminds me of the corrupted ether that's about. Again, I doubt it could have gotten through the shields. Sabine told me all is well, but nothing more. Honestly, it's like getting blood out of a stone with him. I take it from Alphino's absence that he's needed elsewhere. Well, that all sounds rather fascinating, but you got there in the end. While you were off talking to notes, Groha and I were learning as much as we could about Tiamat's condition. Our readings confirm that her etherical balance leans strongly towards the umbral, as was the case with the kobolds. Therefore, all other things being equal, the treatment should work. Sorry, that's just making my brain like, wait a minute, isn't umbral the opposite of stagnation? I thought astral was stagnation. No, umbral. Never mind. Yeah, that would be right. Umbral is light. Astral is dark. Whatever. I'm tired. The skill phase lies in the sheer quantity of ether with which we must contend. Multiple applications of treatment will inevitably be required if we are to reverse the effects of the tempering completely. Meaning I'll need all the ether I can get. Thank you in advance. Empties bag of crystals. Although the Endeavor will ask much of us, we do have one reason to be optimistic, namely that Tiamat shows no signs of functional fanatical devotion, suggesting a milder case of tempering than that suffered by the kobolds. Tiamat saw Bahamut as an equal rather than a god. Might that have made a difference? Now that you mention it, it very well might. She would not have believed it necessary to defer to his will. But enough talk, it is time to put our theories on the proof. Tell Alphino to disengage the restraints, etherical damperers. I'm counting on you, Angelo. Ah! I don't think it's supposed to have squares going off of it. I think there's something just wrong with my game right now. Such warmth, the frost that surroundeth my soul doth begin to thaw. But what are these? Visions of days long forgotten, of war with the men of Alag. Wherefore do such baleful memories return to me now? Could it be the process of restoring her soul to its pre-tempered state is awakening ancient memories? Or might the opposite be true? If so, be helping her to recall the past, we may be able to speed up her recovery. Edgar, she trusts you. Speak to her. Ask her to tell you of times past. Wicked, bloodthirsty creatures, not content with their own land, they brought fire and death to Mircidia, our home. The tale began with Bahamut and I left our father's side. We took wing in search of a place to make our RE. Beyond the southern ocean, we discovered a lush and fertile land. It would come to be known as Mircidia by the children of men through many years, or to pass before they crossed the seas. Upon our arrival, we were welcomed by the peaceful people of the forest, kin to the trees. Surrounded by nature's bounty, Bahamut and I have found a place to raise our young. Fascinating. This correlates with the writings of the Charlian scholar Arusha. She poses that man first settled on the southern continent towards the end of the Second Astral Era, correctly, it would appear. If only she were with us to hear the tale from Tiamat herself. Again, Angelo. When first the children of man arrived on our shores, no foot did they set in whose place over which we held domain. Such was their fear of dragonkind, and as they kept their distance, so did we let them be. Oh, I guess on the right is the tree people. The people who worship the trees. Yet as the days went by, ship after ship appeared upon the horizon, bearing ever more of their brethren, who divided the vast land amongst themselves. For a time they knew peace and prosperity, but as their numbers grew, the smaller their share came to seem, and soon they began to covet the territory of their fellows. Ere long, man fought man, blood was answered with blood, and none could see an end to the strife until one day they came to us. Recognizing our wisdom, they entrusted us to intercede in their conflict. Bahamut agreed, and with him presiding over the affairs of men, the land knew peace once more. Alas, those golden days of harmony too were fated to end, for the men of Alex slew my beloved, and I, in my rage and sorrow, heeded the infamous words of the Ascians. The rest thou knowest only too well. I guess the dragon that we've seen in the past, at least with the dragon nets, I think that was actually Bahamut, because she doesn't have curled horns on the side of her head. She has frills. But your tale doesn't have to end there. When you are free, we'll rid the world of the Ascians together, and you and your beloved will have justice. Fine sentiment, but you're almost spent. I keep watch from above. If the treatment fails, run. Thanks for the vote of confidence. I swear when this is over. Keep going, Alizé. The magic is working. While I knew this wasn't going to be easy, no patient could have prepared me for treating the great worm. But we're close, I can feel it, and while I've only got a few more drops of ether left to give, with yours and Graha, this will work. And I believe I speak for both of us when I say that you may take as much as you require. Careful, I might hold you to that. Alright, here I go. Just have her eat all the food that we've been carrying. That should supply you with enough ether.
No. I'm almost there. This is it, Angelo.
Es ließ an. Mich es
Did it work?
We won't know for certain until the shackles are removed. Many have been subjected to the Allagan's dark arts, their flesh irrevocably altered. For such tortured souls, I fear there can be no salvation.
Angin. Slosk an ol vol kail an. Slosk seth som in an. Afaten. Mon ud. Wan ein. Lis a an. Do ud an.
When that time comes, you won't be alone. We'll stand by you.
She's in an and me.
Alphino's ready. It's time. Do it. And let's hope the treatment worked as it should.
Oh, her wounds are healed, at least. Oh no, it could have been her. She has curled horns on her neck. Yeah, I think it was her.
By the gods!
With the dragonettes.
Urianger, your timing could not be better. Understood, we're on our way. It's Bahamut. He's been sighted over Pagalthan. He flies for the largest Amalja settlement in the region, at the head of a vast host, including dragons.
Did you hear all that, Alphino? You'd best rejoin your comrades. I'll make my own way. Our enemy awaits. Shall we?
Because I don't think we ever see Bahamut, like normal Bahamut, before he was made into a primal. Then again, the primal could be a one-to-one to him, but... Well, I'm sure you're desperate to join us in entanglement in battle would be wedged together with full strength of silence. First, the foe we faced demands no less. We're going to take the chicken. Well, that's going to be it for this episode, and I'll see you all in the next.